The most frustrating thing really is that the fact that, we've got these horses ready to run, obviously with cancellation of races, it's just frustrating.
January is a long, hard month.
It does take its toll a bit.
There is a lot of pressure in racing. It can be tough.
We're in the height of the season and it's full on, and I expect every horse to run well. And if they don't, then I'm disappointed.
It's early January, the halfway point of the jump season. Joe is feeling the effects of having a frustrating festive period.
Busy, tiring, had a lurgy, not enough winners, too many second.
The big breakaway is second, third the big dog.
We're in the height of the season and it's full on, and I expect every horse to run well. And if they don't, then I'm disappointed. We get judged on winners all the time, so you have a winner you think is brilliant, but you've got to celebrate it because the next 4 or 5 get beat and you start questioning everything. That's racing, it's just like the total challenge of it, it's non-stop. You have to be good at losing, you have to be able to understand it. But I am competitive, I don't get any pleasure from running around at the back, so you have to be able to deal with disappointment. It's just how big the disappointment is, really. If I wasn't worried, and I was complacent, then you wouldn't be doing a good enough job, as simple as that. So, I wake up at night thinking about different things. I feel a responsibility to make it all right. But I think Rachel's seeing it for the first time ever as well now, because it all boils down to me, and she also sees when I come home and I'm disappointed with the horses or annoyed with something that I've got wrong.
Your daddy might have to feed you. Obviously we talk about day-to-day life and what's going on at work and things like that, but there is a lot of pressure in racing. A lot of it is results. You get a lot of pressure that way. I mean, it's quite nice to have a winner a week if you can, but then if you get a couple of weeks or a few weeks where you don't have a winner and you've had the runners, then you get a lot of pressure in that respect. It can be tough.
Having Thomas is lovely, because you come home to a smiley little baby and it sort of puts it all into perspective.
He's very hands-on. He's good. He doesn't say no to changing a nappy and giving the feed, so he is very good. It is very special and he's very precious, and Joe's adapted to being a dad, being a trainer, so we're very lucky.
You love Zoe.
Despite coming up short in the King George and the Welsh Grand National, Joe had some New Year's success in the lower grade races.
Attican was good down in the Sussex National. Cheered me up a bit, actually.
Attican giving chase to blame the game. Sidney Ismail.
Well, lovely performance. Travelled and jumped great.
Attican and Brendan Powell, these two fighting it out.
He had a bit of a ding-dong to get his head in front, but got in the head in front nicely.
At the end of 3.5 miles, there's hardly anything between them, but Attican has got up.
No, lovely to get a winner, a decent winner. That was a big race for us 15, 20 years ago. We've got a lot of excitement from him winning.
As well as Attican winning the Sussex National, Joe recently had 2 more winners at his local track.
75 yards to run, I shut that door though, had a healthy lead, and he'll win, I shut that door.
And then, Elixir de Nuts, a 9-year-old, wins a handicap chase very impressively.
Beautiful jump at the second last, and Elixir de Nuts returning to form. It's a second on the day for trainer Joe Tizzard.
All winners are important for Joe and the yard in general, but he has his eye on the more prestigious graded races.
We want to get graded wins, but I've only got a couple of horses that are anywhere sort of near that. There's plenty of season left. As long as we carry on doing what we're doing, we're getting competitive. I've got a lovely bunch of horses going forward.
Joe's retained jockey, Brendan Powell, has become the trusted pilot for his string.
Lovely having a stable jockey because, 9 times out of 10 I don't have to worry about it. He's good, he rides them how we want them ridden.
As a stable jockey, you sort of try and come in and school them and get to know them as much as you can before you ride them at the races. You have to sort of get to know a horse's personality. You get a good buzz off racing. They call it like adrenaline. Every day is a challenge with them. It's definitely not a boring job. We all love the horses and it's a challenge just trying to work all the horses out.
Success came early for Brendan with the Tizzards, winning impressively at the 2013 Cheltenham Festival.
But it's Golden Chieftain for Colin Tizzard and young Brendan Powell towards the last in the JLT Specialty. Brendan Powell, Colin Tizzard, Brocade Racing. The JLT Specialty goes to Golden Chieftain.
From there, he had a successful run for the Tizzards, when in November 2015, he rode Yard Superstar, Native River, to back-to-back wins.
Native River with the noseband has headed and Tom Portu now, and it's Native River who comes towards the last with Brendan Powell over it safely, and Tom Portu is a length and a half behind in second place, and they're on the run him now. But it's Native River is going to win this novices chase and Tom Portu in second place.
I've known Jace since I was a kid because he used to ride for my old man when Dad was training. So me and Joe have always got on pretty well, I think. So he's always looked after me right the way through, really. Wherever Joe wants me, I'll go.
Joe employs many dedicated members of staff that contribute immensely to the family's operation.
We've been lucky with staff. We've got 32 people on the books. It's a big operation. We were struggling a couple of years ago and then talked to a few of our owners and they said, just buy the best. So we upped our wages £2 an hour overnight. It cost the business $80,000 a year, but we then didn't struggle for staff. It was the best thing we ever did. Everybody says, oh, it's all about the team, but it really is. Right from the ground staff all the way up through. You can't do it without them, as simple as that.
If he did, 12 o'clock?
2 important members of Joe's staff are his assistants.
Amanda and Chris have filled that Kim role, and we meet every morning and it works really nicely. I'm really proud of them. They're both my assistants. Chris goes racing a lot more. Amanda deals with the day-to-day.
I just love working with horses. I have done my whole life. You get a relationship with these guys and it's why I get up in the mornings and come to work.
This is my 6th season. I've been here now. Me and Amanda do the board first thing in the morning and just plan the work that all the horses are going to do for that day. If we've got any owners in and everything, making sure they're out at the right time. Working closely with the vet and the farriers and just making sure everything's running smoothly, basically.
Joe cares a lot about his horses, he cares a great deal about his team, he's very sympathetic.
He must be an okay boss, mustn't I? Must be.
For the team at Ven Farm, January is a particular slog with the dark and wet mornings.
It's that time of year, it just happens to come when we're flat out, so everybody gets a little bit tired.
January is a long, hard month. The weather is testing.
It does take its toll a bit, everyone's a little bit more tired, but work's got to be done, hasn't it?
The end of the season isn't quite in sight. We've got the festivals to look forward to. Cheltenham's 8 weeks away. I don't think I've ever done a season where in January I haven't thought this is my last one.
I find it driving to the races, you're driving back in the dark and it's raining and it's tiring.
You need a break, Joe.
I'm going skiing.
Gone skiing for 5 days. So I am up here today, stepping for Joe, because he's away having his mid-season break, as those trainers do. I've got things to do. I've got to pick up some pigs.
In Joe's absence, Colin has to keep a watchful eye over the upcoming runners, including Amarillo Sky, but he's a little out of practice.
Shall we have all their names? Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Joe ever do this? It's other names as they walk by him. I know it anyway, but I just want to remind me. Whose horse is that? You know, he's won a handicap at, where was it? Ages ago.
Colin takes a call from one of the owners about the current weather affecting the weekend's racing schedule.
Very unlikely to be on.
Joe, do you think it won't be on, do you?
I think it won't be. Apparently there's forecast of -3 again tomorrow morning. I stood here on top of the gallops and it's rock hard. I can't think it will be for 1 minute.
Well, unfortunately, racing has been abandoned yet again for another day, owing to this extended cold snap, which has caused so much trouble to racecourse staff during the last week.
As Colin speculated, there is no improvement in the weather. As a result, the weekend's racing is cancelled. It's a situation that proves challenging for all the staff.
Due to have 5 at Wincanton today, but unfortunately that was called off yesterday. We would have had possibly 3 at Lingfield tomorrow, and that's off. Obviously because of the frost last night, and obviously with the water on the road, it's obviously frozen. Just checking to make sure it's safe for the horses to come down to get to the gallop.
Right, Chris? It's all clear. Yeah, it's all clear. As long as you stick to the left-hand side like we did before, it's all clear. All right.
It's a shame, obviously we were looking forward to Amarillo Sky running in the Clarence House there. The horse is ready to run. It's frustrating, isn't it?
Oh, you do? Getting trapped in? We got your, just remember.
Joe's gone skiing, so Colin is fully in charge this week. Like the old days. Yeah, Colin be a little bit more vocal, I suppose. A lot of it's good fun though. I don't think we're schooling anything this morning. Joe obviously doesn't trust Colin to be in charge of the schooling anymore.
After a morning's routine work, Brendan has no races to attend given the cancellations. So, to kill some time, he brushes up on his swing.
It's unfortunate not to be racing, because if we're not racing, we don't earn any money. So. I suppose golf's a nice way of relaxing, sometimes. I think this is frozen. So I'm pretty level-headed, more so now than I probably was 6-7 years ago. I suppose that just comes with experience. You've got to be competitive to be a jockey, but try not to let it overboil, if that makes any sense. It's good to have outside interest as well, because otherwise you just get so engrossed in racing, and it is good to think about it when you're doing it, but too much of it sends you crazy. Yeah, I better stick to the riding, I think. It's the thing that jockeys have always sort of done, is play golf. It keeps you out of the kitchen as well, so you're not eating too much if you're playing golf. The weighing room is probably the best place on earth. You know, the people in there that you're competing with like every day, and you're racing against them, but you know, there's days there where things don't go so well, and if someone does something in a race, it's forgotten about straight after. So, you know, those people, they become like family, basically. You know, there's a lot of respect between us. There's a lot of fun along the way as well.
On Joe's return, he has to deal with a backlog of non-runners because of race cancellations.
10 days without any racing. There's a serious backup there at the moment. It's a bit of a nuisance at the moment. Yeah, I've probably got 100 horses waiting in the wings to run. Bit of a nightmare.
The Clarence House has been rescheduled to run at Cheltenham, but with new entries and a reduced prize pot, Amarillo Sky's participation is up for debate.
Now he's sort of 40 to 1 to 4th in the betting. The prize money's actually halved now, so 4th prize money's £4,000, so not quite as attractive. So I'll see what's been declared at 9:30 and speak to John and decide.
A decision that Joe needs to make now with owner John Romans is whether Amarillo Sky runs at Cheltenham.
All right, John. You know, if you go by the betting, it says we're going to be 4th favourite, which means we're running for bloody £4,500.
Yeah, what's your feeling then, really?
I think we should declare, take our chance, and it will answer a few questions about the festival anyway.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree with that, Joe. I think that's a good decision. All right?
Yeah, perfect. I'll declare, and then jobs are good.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thanks for your call, Joe.
Cheers, John.
All right, cheers. Bye.
Bye. We're taking our chance. He's won around Cheltenham. He's going.
We are in for a huge day's racing here at Cheltenham with 9 races, including the rescheduled Clarence House.
It's the day of the race, and as is routine, Joe has a word with Brendan one last time.
Ride him on his fucking merits. You know, he gets it well, uses fucking jumping. See if he's good enough or not. Yeah.
This race is significant to Joe and owner John Romans. Although they don't need to necessarily win, a high placing will prove that Amarillo Sky is worthy of a race at the Cheltenham Festival in 6 weeks' time.
His times have been really good this season, so you know he goes and finishes 2nd in this or 3rd in this, and then he tells us he's a champion chase horse.
And number 1 is Amarillo Sky. He is, of course, and distance winner, Brendan Powell, Joe Tizzard.
Yeah, he's a smaller model than the 2 that he's following around, Amarillo Sky, but he's having a fine season and he's proven himself here at Cheltenham. Should run well, but this is a different task for him than the handicaps that he's been winning.
And then there's Amarillo Sky, who's much improved this season.
He won well here, and basically he's been pitched into this sort of league as well.
The open ditches being 7 and 9, and they'll take the water as number 6. Moving up to the tape then, they're off. A race away for this Albert Bartlett Clarence House Chase, with Fuminville Civala towards the left. In the centre, Amarillo Sky, on the right in red, Editor du Gite. Those are the leading trio as they come to number 1. They have jumped 4, 10 more to go. They swing left-handed. A couple of these have stood well off some of these fences already as they begin the journey to the far side. Editor du Gite at it, sails over it.
Not jumped so well today, is he?
Amarillo Sky and Fuminville Civala still together, 2nd and 3rd places. Inertia being behind those, just dropped a length behind them now. Amarillo Sky in 2nd place as they come to 5 from the finish.
Oh, he fucking did that in the back of us,
then. Maybe he keeps getting close to Amarillo Sky when he touches down. And as they run into the home straight, Editor du Gite tries to get away. Leads past
I know, I just fucking give him a bit, I know.
Amarillo Sky in 2nd, Inertia being given the hurry up. 2nd last, Editor du Gite jumping well in front, he landed 3 ahead. 2nd place is Inertia.
You're not going to get there, are you?
Editor du Gite at the last, got over it okay, Inertia paddled through it. Edward Stone emerges now as the danger, and it's Edward Stone nearest to us, who's come with Tom Gannon to take it off. Editor du Gite in the red is fighting back at him though.
He's run a lovely race actually. He wasn't quite as fluent as he has been, but you know, it's a step up in grade, and he's run a blinder. I mean, he's just proved that he's still very capable. Might have gone a bit quicker, and also like frost coming out of the ground after 2 weeks of frost. I sometimes think it gives it like a false feeling.
As the horses return to the parade ring, Brendan has already dismounted Amarillo Sky, suggesting something has gone wrong.
It's been very testing. We did have that stat came on the telly, didn't it? 35 runs without a win.
To get these horses to the racetrack, they have to be trained right to the limits.
He has bled. You can see it.
At some point in their careers, they usually have had injury.
We're just trying to get the best out of each horse, really.
When they're at the top level, they're running against the best, and they're putting a lot of pressure, and so you get little problem. I'm going to run Oscar's Elite in the Reynolds Town. I'm just going to use this as a stepping stone to Cheltenham. He caught my eye in a piece of work, so we take our chance. 1, 8.